Hello and welcome to the channel. So we've got this 1x12 combo Irving amplification. I have to say I've not heard of this one. I've done some googling, but I've not found anything on there about these amplifiers, so I don't know a great deal, but there must be someone out there that knows something. So we're going to have a look at this amp. It belongs to Lee at the shop, and I snaffle things out of the shop occasionally. Might just call the run of videos the snaffle videos, because I snaffle something away for us to have a look at. So this is what we've got today. So we've got this cream covering, a couple of stickers there which are really nice, and grill cloth there. We've got some side handles. If we turn it round, can you just about see those? Oops, don't know my own weakness. Yep, got some side handles there. It's not casters, that's the problem. Be a bit careful with it. Right, let's have a look on the top. Right, looking over at the top, it might be a bit overexposed because we're quite close to the lights. This amp's quite tall to be on this bench. So you can see there we've got a bit of a plexi looking faceplate, which is what makes me think this may be based on a Marshall. We've got the usual thing on our standby, plexis cracked across the perspex there, and we'll be seeing that again in another video on the Selma, where they've been tightening up the over tightening the switch and cracked it. So we've got treble, bass, middle, treble and gain, and just one input, so which is good. That's how I like amps. Right, we're looking in the back, and you can see straight away homemade in the UK. We've got this Taden speaker, Taden 55, Retro 55. Don't know anything about that either, but yes, I can tell you that it looks like Billy Bodger has been wiring it up. But anyway, don't worry about that. So we've got 16 ohm, 4 ohm, got the fuse holders there, and we've got an IEC under there. So I think if we get this backplate off, the whole amp should come out by the look at it, because we've got the 4 fixing bolts on the back there. So this, as I said, this isn't in for repair. It's just a snaffle. It's just so we can have a look at it, and that's what we're going to do. Right, let's get this out of the case. Well, the first thing we can see, it's British made. We've got made in Britain transformers on there and British speaker, so it's definitely a British amp. But unfortunately it's been somewhere very damp. Look at this, what a shame. It's on the transformers as well. So we've got 4 4L 84s, couple of 312 AX7s. Right, I've got it out of its case, and we can see a few things. There's date there, 2014. Right, so we're in with the macro lens. So we've got a 10k grid stopper here going in to the first stage. Pins 1. Plate resistor 47k plate resistor on the first stage. And the first and the sixths are tied in together, so it looks like at a glance that those 2 stages are wired in parallel. Cathode pins 3, 1, 2, 3. Brown wire is the cathode. Cathode resistor here, that looks like, is that 680 ohms? I can't really see with the colour of that. Let's test it and see. It is 680 ohms. It says 660 actually, but I think that's 680. So 680 ohms cathode resistor, so that's biased quite hot, and we've got 100 microfarad at 63 volts. That's interesting. We've got capacitor here doing some smoothing, which is 22 microfarads at 450. And we've got a 1k drop-in resistor here, 150 microfarad cap, that's on the cathode, 0.1 sorry, so we've got a 0.1 on the next tube there, going there, so we've come out the plate, so that's wired in parallel. That is a bit odd. So we've got pins 1 and pin 6, pin 2 going in, pins 1 and pin 6 coming to the screen cable here. That's what I'm looking for. That's why I got a bit lost there. Coming here, and that is going to the volume here. Looks like that is a bright, oh dear, bright cap. Not sure about all of that. Right, we're plugged in and we're running. Just turn the master down. Let's just set. It's really quiet. I mean, I've got that cranked, full gain, full everything. No capacitance hum. Now we've got 100 microfarad on the first power node. Right, let's have a look. I'll use this meter for quickness because I've had it on the bench, had it to hand. So let's have a look. So we've got 250 volts there, and we've got 163 there. So if we follow this screen cable to here, let's move that back and tilt the camera a little so you can see here, and we've got 163 volts floating about there. That's not good. That really wants to be decoupled on the board, not coming up to here. And that's free floating about. But yeah, and DC voltage coming up the screen cable. Thing is, when you look at this as well, whoever's done this, there's all this, you know, got the shrink tubing on here, but then you just left that exposed like that, and again that could easily get up against the, not good, but anyway, I might have to try and insulate that. And of course, if we're going down the slope resistor to here, we've still got voltage. Now we've got 161 volts there as well on the other side of there. That could easily get up to ground on that pot. Look at that. My days, that is dangerous. It is. That is not good at all. Not good. I mean, it's to blow the fuse, but that's beside the point. Unless of course somebody's puts the wrong fuse in it, and there's no HT fuse in this amp either. There's only a power fuse, so that is naughty. So we've got cathodes both joined there, and we've got the plates paralleled on that first stage. We've got a 680 ohm cathode resistor and a 100 microfarad bypass cap, so that tube's biased quite hot. 315 volts on that side, and we've got 263 on that side. That, I don't know whether that's the colour of that, or does that look a little baked? It's a fair enough size though. That's got to be 3 watts. It looks a bit baked to me. It's probably not though. Got this board out, you can see, and the reason is I'm going to decouple this because it's dangerous floating around. We've got it's live there and it's live all here, and it can, as I say, as we've seen before, you can get up against those pots. So how am I going to do that? Well, I've had a bit of a look on this board, and if we go in, if we look here, you can see that's the plate resistor there, and then we've got the screen cable to the volume connected straight to it there, and then the coupling caps are up here. So I'm going to put in there a turret, and I've got these turrets here, a bag full of them there, and I'm going to put one of those turrets in one of those holes, and then I'm going to put a 22 microfarad cap across it, and that will decouple the DC off here. It'll remove the DC off there. I could use various values, but I'm probably going to use a 22 I think would be about right for this amp. Now I spoke to Lee who at the shop who owns this amp, and he says that this amp is really bright, so I can't see anything in the tone stack that's making it so particularly, but this 10k resistor we've got, and you probably just can't quite see it there, but this 10k resistor, this grid stopper, I'm going to push that up to 68k. Right, I've got the amp on a dummy load, and it's also on the scope. I'm just to check across these drop-in resistors that are a bit baked. I just want to check just to make sure that there's no issues when this amp's being cranked. .51 volts, you can see up there. My word, that's hot though. .139, that's peaked at 139 degrees centigrade, so that is getting some swage, that resistor. Without a doubt. They smell most delightful. And I really can smell those resistors now. They are getting baked when this amp's turned up. Yep, how about the other one? That one's pretty, that one's not too bad. How about these resistors, these cathode resistors? I think we'll just pull those apart, get a bit of air around those when we switch off. So maximum clean, let's have a look, measure. Peak to peak, 54, is that 64 or 54? Try another pair of glasses. 54. So clean, we're getting 22 watts out of this amp, according to the maths on that. Let's crank it some more. and see what we can get out of it, assuming you wanted to swage it flat out with maximum gain and maximum swage. We get 58 volts peak to peak. 58 volts peak to peak. You better not do that long though with those resistors. 26 watts we're getting out of this amp, a whopping 26 watts. So that's pretty good, cranked up flat out. But that resistor is blazing, as you can see there, and it is coming down in temperature a bit now because obviously I've turned the amp down. And if we wind the amp up, you can see it swaging up. Well, you can't. Can you just see that on camera? Just about. Yeah, and you can see that's getting really hot. We've got 35 volts on there. Now watch what happens when we swage the amp. And you can see now there's 66 volts going across that. So there's 2.42 amps going across that, so that isn't big enough. That needs to be 5 amps. It's okay when the amp's idling because it's half of that. So 2.4 is 1.2, but when this amp's cranked, that is not going to cut it. And neither is the other one, but that one is worse. So we need to change him, don't we? And there we go, we can go in and we can see him there. Looks like a wasp that's been through Shango's flycatcher. Yes, that's all over, even though it's still technically working, and you can just about see the brown on the end there, so that obviously is, and we've got 1.8k we measured, so as I say, we've no idea what these, there is a light brown band around there, so that could have been red at some time, but who knows. But that's all over. So we're looking for something, I think something about 1.5k would do in there, somewhere around there. So you can see, we just move that out of the way, you can see now I've got a much bigger resistor in there, 1.5k, that's a 5 watt, and he should do nicely. Now if we just have a look. And that's fine. So that'll do nicely. The other one, however, he's not looking very well either. Yeah, so that's the problem with that resistor. So I put the probes on it as soon as I switched this amp off, and it was on 15k. Now it's on 8.8k. So now it's beginning to cool. It's dropped, and it's took quite a time for that to drop gradually. So that's the problem with it. So let's just look again. Let's put this on volts, and we'll switch this amp on again. So you can see that's up to 51 volts there. So let's just look at the temperature of that, and I can tell you that that's already going 80 and above. 90 and climbing. So that's getting very hot. So we were something like 8.9k when it cooled down. So we got 52 volts drop. Let's just flick the current off it. And you can see the volts drop. Right, we'll switch off and we'll wait for the voltage to drop. And that dropped very quickly, didn't it? So let's go on to resistance now and look at that. 30 is still going up. I mean, that's like 20k now. And then that's dropping down, and that'll just keep dropping till it gets to about 8k, 7k when it's cool. Right, so now we've got a volts drop of 61 instead of 51, and I've found this nice 10 watt resistor, and that's a bit it's 10k. So it's a little bit over what the other one was. The other one was sitting somewhere around about 8.9, but it just fits perfectly from turret to turret, and I found it and I thought, we'll try that. So I've tacked it in for the minute. I just thought I'd try it and just see, but everything looks okay. As I say, we've just lost that extra 10 volts by putting that in, but that'll be fine. And that's at 40 degrees, so that's good. So he's never going to burn up, is he? He's a bit overkill. But I just, you know, when you pull it out of the bag and you look at it and you go, yes, let's put that in. And it's definitely overkill. But it's never going to blow, is it? So transformers only lukewarm. That transformer's a beast. That's just lukewarm. And that amp's been cranked up flat out. Right, we've got this Irving amp all up and ready for a demo. Still very bright, but I think it's that speaker. I've got the treble on about number 1. Very bright amp, but I do think that's that speaker. Remember that Taden speaker, we've got no history of it or anything. Don't know anything about those. So if anybody knows anything about those speakers, let me know in the comments. But I think a nice greenback or something would be good in this amp. Let's have a listen. bass in, and I've got the treble at about number 1 or 2. I've got the mid at about, it's upside down there, so we could probably call that 10 o'clock-ish. So that's full mid. Tasty sound. Bit like a treble control, that mid, actually, more than a... yeah. So let's just take all the mid out, bring the treble up. That really is bright. As soon as you turn that treble up, that's a sign of the speaker, I think. Probably best with that mid at about 10 o'clock. What we'll do now, let's crank the gain up and turn the master down and see what we get. Locking distortion. Let's take some of the bass out. Nothing like a boring old triad chord to sniff out blocking distortion. Bass. Let's get the bass down. So that's full gain. This thing is loud. And whoever's designed this amp, I think they've designed it to be clean. And I put 100k grid stopper on that second stage. It only had 1k on before, so it must have really had some blocking distortion on there. Let's just bring the gain down to about 3/4. Let's bring this up. Wow, this thing is loud. Man dingo. Unless that's the speaker, that doesn't sound great. Clean sound is unbelievable on it. It's just a most beautiful tone. Bass full up. Oh no, that's bass. Put a bit more of that treble in. So the gain's halfway up now. Back the volume. Let's bring that gain back down to about 9 o'clock. That speaker, I don't like that clean tone is marvellous. It's lovely. I'm not mad keen on that speaker though, but I've got an idea. Let's plug the 4x12 into it, and why not? There's nothing like getting it on the 4x12. And listen to the difference. So yes, that speaker's a little bit harsh, don't like that, but you can tell the amp's got a lovely clean tone even through that speaker. Now that's pretty warm now, so let's just bring in some treble. But to be fair, we will have on a 4x12, so we can't really, in fact we can take some bass off, we can't really count that, can we? That wouldn't be fair to draw a comparison with that. Those rakes on the guitar hearse remind me of people who can roll their R's. I can't roll my R's. Let me know in the comments who can roll their R's. If you can roll your R's, leave me a row of R's in the comments. That's a gorgeous tone. And I'll put a bit. Let's put most of the mid in. Let's have 3/4 of the mid and half of the treble now. Yeah, it's still bright. But if you've got the treble now, it's about 10 o'clock. It's pretty good. But now we're going to get the gain, swage the gain up. Let's swage that up to 3/4. We'll take some more bass out. Again, a little bright now, but then we've wound that gain pot up, so we've got a little bit more brightness, so we'll take that off with the treble. Let's take some more bass out. Let's have a plectrum as well. That's better. Much better. So in fact we could probably lose a bit more bass on there. Let's put it all in. My word, this thing is loud. Bit more treble in there. Bit more. Well, that's a marked improvement on the other speaker. I think I've took too much bass out now. Let's turn the mid down to about 10 o'clock. And we'll bring the treble up Really is, this amp is so loud. Just take it a little bit off the gain. Travel off. Takes a bit of fiddling around, but yeah. Oh, rusty. Well, what a transformation that is. So, I'm afraid that speaker in there is either not suitable for guitar or it's just rubbish. It is in this amp anyway. Because that sounds rather tasty now, doesn't it? It took a bit of tweaking to get that sound, but I tell you what, put a greenback in that, man, that'll be smoking. Trouble is, it's so loud, you probably a greenback's only 30 watts. I don't think a 30 watt speaker would last very long in that if it was cranked up flat out. Because that is seriously loud. Classic rusty 70s rock sound, that. Just roll off some treble. Arthritis is swaging a bit today. But that sounds really good. That is a great sounding amp with the right speaker. It's got a great clean tone. Having said that, if you're intent on playing this amp clean all the time, maybe might choose a different speaker from the Celestion, maybe a Jensen. It's had a very nice clean tone on on its own speaker. That's a lovely warm tone. Let's try it on the single coil. That's all, folks. So that's been a bit of an interesting one there. We've delved into a few things, and I've just gone through a few things there, just experiment stuff and to learning and things. But also changing the speakers on this has just transformed this amp. And you know, if you look inside this amp, you can see it's probably not been made by a professional. It might have been, I don't know. There is some, you know, we found some issues in there and one thing or another, but you can't argue with the tone and the iron that is chosen, the transformers. My days, you know, that with the right speaker in there will just sound awesome. A Jensen maybe in there, or now I think if you were, you know, a clean tone player, maybe the Jensen. If the rock stuff, then you know, there's Celestion 75s in there, usual thing they have in the Marshall cabs, are my favourite speakers, and that, yeah, that sounds great. It does. We don't like the Taden speaker. Let me know what you think about the Taden speaker in the comments, what you think of it, and don't forget, if you can roll your R's, let me know in the comments. Right, that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching and putting up with me waffling, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.